Are you ready for my review of Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides? Spoilers! So basically, this movie takes place after At World's End. Now, let me talk about what I didn't like, because I really liked this movie. It was really fun. Now, this movie isn't as good as Curse of the Black Pearl. That will always be my favorite. That movie was awesome. It was a surprise hit compared to like a movie like Haunted Mansion, which was also a Disney movie based on Disney ride. Pirates of the Caribbean was awesome, and everything you want like in a Pirates movie. And Johnny Depp, like that was the role that has made this career. I mean, I loved him since Edward Scissorhands, and even before with 21 Jump Street and Nightmare on Elm Street. But this movie, this franchise has really made him into a mega movie star. Now, yeah, with this movie, like I said, it's not as good as the original. I don't think any of the ones that have come out ever has been, because they either felt too long, or the story's been convoluted, or it's just really crazy and hard to understand. Now, this one, with one thing, Rob Marshall, who did Chicago and some other films, he took over from Gore Verbinski, I believe, who directed the first 3 Pirates movies, and he was really good. I mean, some people say the pace of this movie, I mean, it can feel kind of slow at times, but it's still entertaining. And one thing that you'll notice, there's not that many pirate ship fights as compared to the other movies where they mostly fight on ships. This is mostly land-based, which seems really weird, because I mean, when they are on the ship at times, like with the Queen's Revenge. And that's one thing I didn't like. We didn't see the pearl as much, and when we do, it's in a bottle, and I'll get to that. It's really weird, but with the pearl not being the main showcase, it's cool. But the pearl is a big part of Jack Sparrow. Like he loves that ship more than anything, more than any woman, including Angelica, who also again too. But yeah, so that's one thing. Like with the Queen Anne's Revenge, you see the cool what it can do with Blackbeard, but this is mostly, it's based on land, finding the Fountain of Youth, because it takes place over there. So I just wish there was more actual ship things. We see a cool thing with the mermaids, and holy crap, mermaids can be scary in this movie. They're definitely not like the Little Mermaid, and they're like with singing with crabs and fish. They're like vampire mermaids, and that was this movie will make you scared of mermaids, but at the same time they're very sexy. So sexy but deadly. So yeah, so just wish there was more pirate ship fights compared to the other movies. The action was cool, but just didn't seem as crazy cool action as the other movies. But there were some cool action scenes in the 3D. Now the 3D I thought was gonna suck, but it was actually, especially with the swords at times, looked really cool. And there was parts where it's actually, holy crap, it's coming at you. So the 3D was a lot better than I thought. So if you guys do want to see this 3D, I do recommend it. It actually looks really cool. So overall, the plot is about finding the Fountain of Youth, and Jack helps break out Gibbs, who we know from the other movies. And Gibbs I love. I'm glad that he's back in there. But some people like Pinto and Rigatti, or the 2 pirate guys, the one Lost His Eye and stuff, they weren't in this, which I love those characters, so I wish they were still in it. So but with Gibbs, Jack pretending to be a judge, that was pretty funny. And then the chase sequence was cool. Like I said, like the action in here, there's some parts were really cool. Some parts they're cool. Overall, it's what I really like is that Will and Elizabeth, I liked them in the first movie. The second, and especially third movie, I was just like so tired of them and their love story. In this movie, it kind of has some love stories, but not really. Love is not the focal point of this movie, whereas the other one is really like an adventure and a love story. This one is like an adventure, and it kind of has some love stories on the side. It's not like a focal point in the story, which is a good thing. Because I think with the second, third film, the whole Will and Elizabeth thing just got dragged on, and then the end game of it was just, what? After all that crap, it's just like they only see each other once every 10 years. Ugh. So this one, Jack and Angelica, who played by Penelope Cruz, who looks gorgeous. Now she is very she is a lot like Jack. You don't know if she's gonna trick you or she's a good guy or what. I mean, and so she's very like you don't know which way she'll go. So that's really cool, and she's very. Like her and Jack, they have that sexual tension, but at the same time, it's not about them ending up together. Even she tells him at the end, like, I love you, and he just, like, goes off and to his next adventure to get his beloved Pearl and everything, who Blackbeard is keeping in a bottle, which is really crazy. Now, Blackbeard, I guess that's one thing, like, Ian McShane, he was very cool, but Blackbeard compared to, like, Barbossa in the first film and Davy Jones in the second and third film, he wasn't as menacing, and he seemed more like, you know, like he had his moments where he was evil, but he didn't seem as evil as like other villains in the film. So he was okay. He was cool, but what happens to him at the end, you're just like, oh, okay, good riddance. You know, but Barbossa, it's also funny because he starts off, you know, he's like a good guy now, and he's part of, you know, King George or whatever, like London's armory, and then, you know, he lost his leg from Blackbird, and he has his whole revenge thing. So that was cool. It was cool because his character had some complexity to it, and you see him like become like, is he a good guy or is he a bad guy? He has, so that was cool. I love his character in this film, and Jack, of course, is great. He had some really funny parts, and Johnny Depp is always great. Like I said, this film isn't the best one out of this series, but it's definitely better than the last one. And like with the action and the 3D looks cool, and it's really fun because this movie is long. It's like over maybe almost 2.5 hours long. So, but even though it's long, it's not like, you know, where it puts you to sleep. You actually do want to see what happens, and there is a little love story with this mermaid and this one religious guy, but it's mostly forgettable. It's, I guess, cool for like people that are into romance, but it's forgettable. But also the little cameo by Keith Richards as Jack Sparrow. It was brief but very cool. I love seeing that. Keith Richards is awesome, and yeah, the next adventure, I can't tell. They set up this movie for a sequel, but I forget what they're looking for the next film. I just want the Pearl in it, and they definitely set up that Angelica will return. So, but overall, the movie was really cool. Like I said, it's not the best, but I definitely like it. I would probably give it a 3.5 out of 5, meaning like a 2 thumbs up and a half, almost a rock on. So. Yeah, 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, it's definitely better than At World's End. A great summer movie, but I didn't enjoy it as much as Thor or, you know, like the first Pirates movie. But I still recommend it, and probably definitely see it in matinee and see the matinee in 3D because it's worth seeing the 3D. But yeah, you'll still enjoy it without the 3D either. So.